all these records. Got these turntables down here. And I've already made one table here. Pulled T-post out of the yard. Basically weld these all together. Let the inside of the T be the inlay for the table. I pulled this table out of the yard, which was kind of warped, so I'm holding that down with clamps on each of the raising corners. So made this little workstation. It's not quite enough. I need another one. I originally had this on basically like a wood plank similar to the top of the table, but it had casters. Well, it still does. It's over here. So this was the bottom, and when I put it on top of this, it was just too high when I put the turntables up on it. So basically just need to make another table that's lower. I'm probably gonna leave this down here as the bottom, and then the top is effectively just gonna be the turntable case is gonna inlay on the, or it's gonna lay on the inside of that, the top of the table, similar to how that's set up. And then, yeah, drop it on there, then I'll be able to wheel those around. So let's get after it. Getting straight to work. I've got all the T-posts laid out. I'm building the T-post around the table since I had the table first and it was already built. So I'll basically clamp it and leave a little bit hanging off on each end, you know, kind of thinking that enough length so that the outsides will meet when I cut the 45s. So each side, cut it to length, cut the 45 angles on the inside. Once I get done cutting all my lengths and all my 45s, just clamp 2 sides down, start hitting my spot welds.
once everything is nice and tacked together, just start putting more permanent welds on each side, sand and grind off all the slag. Taking a second to measure up the legs, so I went with about, I think it was like 36 inches, so like 3 feet. I have to cut all 4 3-foot lengths, and then just kind of size them up, make sure they're all even before tacking them on and trying to get them level. Cleaning up all the spots, getting ready for welding on the legs. Always want to try to get as much paint off as you can, otherwise that stuff will light on fire real quick. Always make sure when you're welding that you prep all of your surfaces. Similar to sanding off all the paint, you also want to grind an angle into the end of the piece being welded, so there's somewhere for the weld to fit in. So I'm just giving some slight 30 to 40 degree angles at the very end to kind of make the end of the T-post effectively look like a point. Right where it touches the T-post table frame, it'll have somewhere for the weld to fill in. this is round 2, making the bottom part of the table, or just effectively the other side, since it can be flipped upside down and right side up, or whatever it's called. I've just got all the rest of the T-posts, figuring out the lengths, cutting the length, cutting the 45s, getting everything trimmed up for the other side. I'm already mid-project on the winch video. That was a fiasco. Ended up buying a winch. That had been sabotaged and returned. So here's the completed table. Some top welds. And it's already got, fully loaded. I went and picked up this free step. This thing's pretty massive. It's gonna be handy though. I gotta build some other stuff for this effects box up here so I can put my case on. Went to Harbor Freight, picked up a new compressor. So yeah, a lot of stuff to clean up, sort out. But this thing's rad. It works really well. And put a power strip on it. So here's my other 6S that I do some recording with. It's probably when you guys see the video change qualities.
But yeah, that's it. Pretty good job, I think. You know, I'm gonna take it out, paint it, and all that eventually, but it'll be a while before I get to that. In the meantime, I've got this massive mess and the trailer's outside, so yeah, I'm gonna have to finish that winch project tomorrow while I run out of light. So, see you soon.